Hello, welcome to the Wealthy Trades Daily Market Forecast for Friday, April 17th, 2015. Let's get started right away. I'm running a little behind, so I'm going to go a little fast. Yesterday, we had a little better than break even. We were long SE, if you remember, and it actually ended up closing down slightly for the day, but you also could have bought at the counter trend level, which was about 37.95 or so, and could have made a little bit there. That's the reason why you got to use the levels to win data. You got to understand what happens when it hits those levels. So what we're going to do today is we are in an uptrend, but the quality is below 50%. So we're going to do a pairs trade. And normally what we do is we do a pairs trade long the best stock or the best sector and then short the worst stock in the worst sector. We're going to do something different today, and the reason why is we've got the futures down big right now. We're going to get a big gap down in the morning, and there's a kind of a flight to safety happening right now. And when you get a flight to safety, bonds rally, meaning that yields go down, and typically the sector that is poised for the best safety play is the utility sector because it's high yield, right? It's high dividend stocks. Well, that's the worst sector to be in this uptrend. So I want to avoid taking any short positions in the XLU today. So we're going to do something a little different today, and I'll explain it, but it actually works out well. We're going to do a pairs trade, but we're going to do a pairs trade within the XL, all within the XLV itself. All right. Instead of going long the best sector and short the worst sector, we're going to look for both long and shorting opportunities in the XLV itself, and it's actually setting up where it's going to make it really easy. So I'm going to bring all the stocks in the XLV over into my portfolio. All right, and whoops. And then we're going to look for the best long opportunity first, and it's going to be obvious which one we're going to hedge and short against that. First thing I want to do is I want to eliminate anything that doesn't have a profit on both sides, okay? You want to watch this video until the end. I have a really cool options trade. I'm going to do just a day trade on options. I'm going to do a spread on Netflix. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And we sent out some earnings plays this week. We had one play that just knocked it out of the park. Netflix bought the 475 calls for $22.50. Was looking for a profit of about $60. So we turned $22.50 into $60 overnight, literally overnight. Netflix was a phenomenal trade. Anyway, let's find out what we're going to do today. So levels to win profit. What this is telling me is ABBV closed at 62.59. On a Friday, these are all historical numbers on Friday. So on a Friday, it should move up today 60 to 63.22 based on the closing price, or down to 61.90 based on the closing price. Well, it has a 53% chance of moving up here and only a 28% chance of moving down there, and it's the same distance, right? The one thing we want to know is well, when it hits this level, does it make money? Yes. Well, when it hits this level, does it make money? What that means is, in an uptrend, if you bought at 63.22. Is that historically profitable to buy there and close at the end of the day? The answer is yes, because it makes money. Also on the counter trend, is it historically profitable if you bought at 61.90 on a Friday and closed at the end of the day? The answer is yes. Okay, so that's great. That's what we want to see. And then this levels on levels tells me how often, what's the probability of it closing above this level, and what's the probability of it closing below this level. Okay, so we want to see a wide range there. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to eliminate anything that doesn't make money. So for example, BCR doesn't make money on the trend side, so I'm going to eliminate it. So anything that doesn't make money on both sides, HCA, on both sides, I'm going to eliminate. Okay, so now we've pared it down to those ones. Okay, so now the next thing I want to do is I want to find the stock that has the biggest gap between, the biggest range between the percentage of chance that it closes above the trend side compared to the percent chance of it closing below the counter trend. So I want a really wide range here. So for example, this is about a 17% range. Well, these are fairly close. ABC being a little better because 26.9 compared to 28.8. ABC is a little better. Well, let's look at these two here. Well, the CI is better, even better than that one, because it's about 23% gap compared to, only 19% gap. So CI is better. Stryker's even better. This is almost a 30% gap compared to a 23% gap. So that's even better. And it's better than that. So Stryker is the one that gives us it makes money on both sides. It has the highest probability of closing above the trend side compared to closing below the counter trend side. It hits at a high rate. Stryker, SYK, is a phenomenal long opportunity today. There's 3 entries. You can enter at the open. We're probably going to get a gap down. That's okay. I'm gonna enter at the open. If it hits 91.58, I can enter again there, just like yesterday. SC, if you would have entered at the counter trend level, you would have made some money. So I could enter there because historically it makes money. And if we get a big rally, probably not going to happen today, but if we do hit this 92.75, I can add there. We're going to pair that. Typically what we do is we go and we look at the dashboard and we pair it with the worst stock in the worst sector, right? The problem is, like I said, we're getting a flight to safety today, which means we're probably going to see a decent rally in the XLU. I want to avoid that. So the XLV, even though it's the best sector, it gives us an opportunity because it's got 69.1% of the stocks moving in an uptrend. That's true. But here's the deal. The XLV itself is in a downtrend. So it makes it real easy for us. We're going to go long the best stock in the healthcare sector, which is SYK, and we're just going to go short the XLV itself. So that's my pair trade for today. I'm going to go long SYK at the open, short XLV at the open, hold all day long, close at the end of the day. We typically don't do pairs trades in the same sector, which isn't a bad thing. You can do that. We typically do best sector and worst sector, but today, because the XLU is the worst sector and I want to avoid that, I'm going to just do it all in the XLV. I'm going to short the XLV, go long SYK all day long. That's my trade. Here's another kind of bonus trade for you guys that I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna actually call this out. And after this week, this is only going to be for premium members, meaning members that are paying members. After this week, only paying members will get my earnings alerts. Only paying members will get my core weekly options trades and my specific options trades, like I'm gonna do today. But as a bonus, here's what those trades will look like. Netflix is poised to open down, all right, down slightly. It's probably going to open right around closed at 562. It's probably going to open at about 558 or so. The expected low today is 550. Well, here's what I'm going to do. The implied volatility, because it had such a huge move, the implied volatility is really high on Netflix, meaning the premium you can get on Netflix options is very high. So what I know is it's in an uptrend. The downside, the expected downside today is 550.69. Okay, 550.69 is the expected downside. And historically, on a Friday, it only has 11.5% probability of closing below that level. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the 550 by 545 bull put spread. So I'm going to sell the 550, today's expiration. I'm going to sell today's expiration 550 put. I'm going to buy today's expiration 545 put. All right, and I'm going to look to collect a premium. All right, so that's called a bull put spread. I'm going to look to collect a premium of 80 cents or more. If you think about that, so I'm doing a $5 spread, okay? Well, if I collect 80 cents, I'm collecting 16% of that spread. 16% of that spread. Well, it only has an 11.5% probability of being below 550.69. And here's how the trade profits. I make 80 cents on that trade, which is $80 a contract. I make that 80 cents if Netflix closes today above 550. So as long as it doesn't sell off $12 from yesterday's close to today's open or today's close, I make my 80 cents. It's a very high probability trade. In fact, I've got about an 89 or 88.5% probability based on historicals. Well, I've got an 88% probability, but I'm getting paid 16, 17%. That's the type of trade you want to do every single time. The math just makes sense. Let's think about that. Let's say that I made 80 cents, all right, 17 times, right? Or I'm sorry, 80 cents, 88.5% of the time, because it only closes below that 11.5% of the time. So that means 88.5% of the time I'm going to make that 80 cents, right? So 88.5%. So out of 100, I made $70.80. Well, let's say the other 11.5% of the times I lost the entire spread, which is unrealistic. But let's say I lost that entire $4.20. That's only $48. So I made $70 and I lost $48. And the $48 is assuming a full loss, a complete full blowout of the spread, which is very unrealistic. The only way I have a max loss is if it's below 545. But even if it's, my break even on this trade is 549.20. All right, so I might be confusing. This is the reason, again, here's a shameless plug. This is the reason why I'm going to do a special options course, all right, for members. You get this, you're going to get this course. I'm going to go into spreads. I'm going to go into covered calls. I'm going to go into all kinds of very advanced techniques, and I'm going to show you how to use this data and how to place those in this options course. It's going to be a phenomenal course. better than anything out there, and I'm going to give it away for free to paying members. Okay, the first 1,000 paying members will get this options course 100% free. All right, for the first 1,000 members. After that, the course is probably going to be about $1,000 itself. It's worth a ton of money because trades like this. Again, I'm looking to collect 80 cents on a $5 spread. That's 16%. Well, historically it's if I can collect over 11.5%, it's a good trade. Great trade. I want to do the 550. I want to sell the 550 put, buy the 545 put, collect at least 80 cents. Bull put spread expired today. That is a great trade. Those are the type of trades you need to do. Let's do the math one more time. 11.5% of the time, if I do a $5 spread and I collect 80 cents, that means I'm risking $4.20. Well, I'm going to lose that $4.20 11.5% of the time, which is unrealistic because that's assuming a blowout. But let's just say, so I lose $48.30. Well, remember, I'm going to make my 80 cents 88.5% of the time. So I'm going to make 70, so 48.30. This is a phenomenally profitable trade that you need to take every time. Even taking in catastrophic losses, it's still a great trade. So these are the type of trades that I'm going to call out in that options course. Again, it'll be free to the first 1,000 members. It'll be very, very detailed. I'll be going into many different strategies and how to use our data, all right, our probabilities and our stats to find undervalued options, overvalued options, how to sell premium, covered calls, spreads, all kinds of stuff. It'll be phenomenal. Sign up now. Do not let your trial expire. The first 1,000 members will get this course. It should be complete in the next 2 weeks. The first 1,000 members will get it absolutely free. It'll be worth every single dime. Plus, you get the huge discount, the deep discount, over only $74 a month for the Wealthy Trades dashboard. It's a great deal. Anyway, sign up now. For today, what we're doing, we're going short XLV, long striker. For the week, we're still long in the XLV itself. Actually, the best stock we're long is UNH, and I'll do a weekly recap of that. UNH is just doing awesome. I'm really proud of that, and we're still long the XLV and CAH for the month, and I'll recap that this week too. So anyway, if you have any questions, email me, Tyson at info@wealthytrades.com, and we will talk to you Monday. Have a great weekend. I will send out the weekly recap and the weekly forecast videos this weekend. Have a great weekend.